Hey there and welcome back. Today we're going to be having a look at the brand new dashboard setup I've got in Boris. It really makes the cabin a much nicer place to be, and I hope this video can help you with your decisions when changing up yours. Let's get into it. So it's been a little while since I did the bulkhead. That was back in November, I believe, end of November, early December. And it's just been brilliant. I'm super happy with it. I won't go over it too much. Obviously, I do want to do maybe a bit of a sort of looking back. Maybe I'll do that 6 months after. Maybe look at doing that in June or May or something like that. Generally, I'm really happy with it, which is very good. Just filming this on my phone, no microphones, no nothing. Keeping it ready, get on the fly. Gonna try and throw a few videos out at the moment because I sort of feel like I've been away for a little bit. So what we're gonna be looking at right now, as you probably know from the thumbnail, and sorry for waffling on, is my dash that we installed. Went for a few upgrades when I was doing the bulkhead and it seemed like the wisest time to do it. So I thought, what I'll do, I've got a lot of footage of me installing it and I kept that from the bulkhead film, and we'll look at that now. So I will talk about it here and I'll also insert a lot of that as well. So we'll start with the actual dash. This is a mud-stuck unit. I had one in Boris before, but there was lots of holes in it from other owners and me installing the different things, different bits and pieces. It's gone a bit shiny. This new matte finish is a lot nicer. I'd have been admiring it for a little while. And also the metal sort of cage that goes behind here was all rusted as well. So that was time for an update, and I knew I wanted to go to double din and put a new unit in here. So I thought it was time for a refresh. That was definitely a bit of a last minute decision, I'd say. I actually ordered it up to Ben's when we were doing the bulkhead, and it was delivered. Even though we were very close to Christmas at the time, I was happy for it to arrive to finish it off on the 4th day of the build. So that was a really nice base to go off. It was nice to do a complete reset, and it did definitely set it up nicely. Let's start up here, and this is the Terra Firma switch panel. I've had a few questions about this since installing this on Instagram and on YouTube. It's absolutely brilliant. It's quite pricey, you know, it's not a cheap bit of kit. It's nice and metal, and the buttons work perfectly. You've got a actual customizable sticker sheet that comes with it, bear with me, just like this, and you can put lots and lots of different customizable bits and pieces on here. It doesn't have everything I needed, but I tried to go as close as possible. I don't have underglobe. That's the internal light on there, as you can see. Aux that controls the little voltage unit, but I'll come to that in a moment. And then these three are spare CB aerial there, which also now is the radio aerial. I did a little adapter unit. That means you can split that single aerial you can see there, that's tucked away because I'm doing something else, and that can control the CB, or gives signal for the CB and the radio as well, which is really good. Fog lights obviously, and then the rear working lights, my ORE lights on the back as well. It uses a very neat system of having a fuse and outlet box down in the battery, and then run one cable up to the actual switch panel. So it means you don't have to have loads of cables everywhere, and it's a much better solution. I got it from Brookwells. Everything for the bulkhead replacement in terms of parts came from Brookwells, so do contact them if you do want one of those. That's a lovely bit of kit. I did put it mount on slightly wrong, but it's now got Velcro behind, as you can hear there, if you do need to remove it for anything like that. So that's probably the most asked thing I've had. Obviously hazard switch, that hasn't changed. I just rewired it to get them up here. I did want to have that and that on here, but the way these Carling switches work, it wasn't possible. But now I think I'm happy with these two up there like that, and it leaves these three nice and clean, which is really nice. Right, moving on. As you can see, there's another switch there that wasn't there before. You click that in and there's a momentary 10-minute time on there, and that is to control the heated windscreen. It is a fantastic bit of kit. Obviously it's been December and it's now March since the bulkhead install. I've had a real good chance to test it. It hasn't been like the most freezing days in it, but it's been very rainy and warm in here when it fogs up when you're driving, when you get to the car, and twice or 3 times now I've had it when I've come out and there's frost or ice on the window. The 2 times I did it, I just sort of came out, I was loading the car up, I switch the ignition on, don't need the engine on, turn that on, don't even need the air to be coming out, switch the switch, and then you come out and it's all melted or defogged, and it's an absolutely fantastic bit of kit. They are quite expensive, but definitely if you get the right one from the right place, you get the loom that's in as well. You can see the little tabs on either end there, which is pretty good. And I did not work straight away, but it's because I found out that I hadn't connected to the battery fully anyway. So soon as I got it working, it's an absolutely fantastic bit of kit, and I'd really recommend that. So while we're up in the windscreen area, you can see the Quadlock mount there. That's actually suctioned onto the window. It's got the mag head, and I've upgraded everything. My bike, the Boris, my car, and Sophie's car as well. We've all got Quadlock now, which is absolutely brilliant. Magnetic, goes straight up onto there. You can get magnetic heads, but I connect mine in using a cable for CarPlay, and that is a huge bonus. I've got another one of these upstairs. I'm going to connect over here, either for Sophie or for my iPad, which has got the case on it as well for GPS. That is a huge upgrade, and I'm really happy with that, because I used to have a RAM mount up here. They would hold it, they would grip it. It would be able to do it with one hand if you needed to, and also then I just upgraded it to a Quadlock anyway. So this is complete loads neater. It's in your eye line, it's a lot safer, and I'm really happy with that as well. This is a Sony CarPlay unit I got from Halfords a little while ago. All I can say is I like the way it looks. I had it on my Mark IV Golf before I sold it. It's a nice sort of very clean, dark, retro looking one. Only 1 or 2 buttons on there. And it does CarPlay. It's all you need to say, really. Radio works well. It's got Bluetooth. It's got everything you need in this sort of retro looking package. Nice big screen, and then you just connect it with the little cable here. It's plugged into the front. You know how CarPlay works. That is a lifesaver. It means you can have music up on your phone and then maps down here, and whenever you get, your phone is fully charged, which is really nice. That's a huge upgrade, and I'm really happy to have that, because my previous one malfunctioned. The next thing I want to do with this though is get a reversing camera installed into it. So when you press this button, the aux one, the voltmeter and USB comes on down there. That was in the previous dash, but I've put it in this one as well. As you can see, there's a sort of a neat USB coming out of there, and that runs in behind and then to this module here. I have had people ask me about this before, and as you can see there, effectively what it is a heads-up display. It's obviously flickering there with the camera. I'll come back out again because that looked a bit better. So as you're driving along, and you can be looking to the distance, and then you've got a more accurate speed up in your eye line than down there. This one's clicking at the moment. It fluctuates loads. So there you've got a much more accurate. It's even got a little compass on it as well. Takes maybe about between 20 and 40 seconds. I think it's just established a connection there. You heard it go. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. I use it all the time. It's got a dimmer as well. I got that on Amazon, and I'm really happy with that. It's something that I just chucked in with no expectation, and it's been absolutely brilliant, and holding up to the sort of colder temperatures as well. That is a brilliant bit of kit, and obviously operated on there as well. So it's not necessarily dashboard related, but it is cockpit, and I'm sure if you are a avid watcher of the channel, you would have seen it before. It's this Exmoor trim rubber matting that I went in very recently. I've got a full film of that. I think that was my last upload of now. I'm not sure when this video is going to go up. That has definitely made a difference in the cab. It's definitely softened off the sound of the engine, and it means you can talk a little bit quieter to your passenger, which is really nice. Really happy with that, and I'd very much recommend it. Very easy install, and it's just finishing off this cabin altogether. So the final point really is my Evander steering wheel. I've gone for a few different Exmoor trim ones to test out, and I'd say this is my favourite. Very classic looking. I've actually given it a bit of a brushed effect now with some sandpaper. Probably shouldn't do that, but I like to make things my own. And I did have an Exmoor trim boss on there, which worked very well. It was a bit more narrow than this one, but I've recently bought an Optimil one. And basically what you do, pull these out. I'm sure you've seen it before, and then means you can take the steering wheel off. I used this the other day actually when I went to Exmoor trim to film. I stayed in a Premier Inn nearby, and you know what it's like, you get a bit paranoid. Just take that off. They've actually got another unit that goes on there to stop thieves from angle grinding steering. It spins itself, and it means you can take your steering wheel into the hotel and look a little bit weird, but it's quite a cool thing to be able to do, and that's definitely an upgrade if you haven't seen it. As you know, Defender security is not fantastic. So there you go then. There's a little look at the dashboard. It's been a few months in the waiting. Hopefully I can insert some of the install videos as I was talking about it, and I didn't waffle on too much. Hopefully it gave you a little insight into each individual bit. I'm very happy with how it is now. Maybe if you put noise cancelling headphones on when you're on the motorway, it basically feels like a normal car effectively now anyway, which is really great. Having these little mod cons really makes a big difference. If you do have any questions, put them in the comments down below, obviously. And if you're still here, you can like and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. bye.